Good morning, everyone. My name is Imali Manikarachi, and I'm a lecturer of Ocean University of Sri Lanka. And I'm really honored to have this invitation from the International Youth Alliance to talk about marine conservation, which is, of course, one of the major important topics prevailing in the world right now. So let us begin. So, why marine conservation is important? Why oceans or marine environment is important actually? Because 75 of the world's the surface is covered with oceans, which necessarily makes it a blue planet. Therefore, even though we call it Earth, it's actually most of the times it's the ocean. And it is a great life supporting system which provides many tangible and intangible services for the existence of life on Earth. For example, in technical terms, we say that there are four four services that are provided by the oceans, being provisioning services such as food and material and medicines that are important for human consumption. And also there are regulatory services such as climate regulation and pollution control. And also cultural services that are important for our aesthetic joy and also recreational purposes, and also supporting services that all the other services that ocean provides for existence of the previous three services. So because of these reasons, oceans become very important to continue life on Earth. Most of the times we consider about the terrestrial environment. We talk about conservation of rainforests, planting of trees, but it's actually 50% of the air we breathe, oxygen, that comes from the ocean, not from the rainforests, because of the photosynthesis of the planktons. So these are some details that to show you why ocean environments are important for us. And then we have to talk about why conservation, why we need conservation for the oceans. Because for the past few decades, people were thinking that oceans are bottomless pits of garbage dump, and also they thought that we can extract whatever the resources we have in the ocean, and the oceans would not feel about it because it's so big. So because of these reasons, we were kind of engaging in ocean environments with like a more greedy pattern to grab whatever the things we need, not to conserve it. Because of these reasons, oceans had become very crowded with people. And it's not until up to the late 50s that people thought, because of all the scientific discoveries, they started to realize that oceans are not what they thought. They are also vulnerable just as the rest of the ecosystems. And because of these reasons, there were conservation efforts came up from international levels and national wides. For example, IUCN, the creation of IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, was created by the United States government as a result of this conservation efforts to start up with. So similarly, there are many international organizations working in the marine conservation sector, such as, for example, Oceania and Sea Shepherds, which are really engaged in conservation efforts. So that is something from the international and like foreign side. But let us talk about what we are doing in Sri Lanka to marine conservation. We do have authorities. Like when we talk about marine conservation, actually it's not like a one-sided responsibility. There are government authorities, non-governmental authorities, and corporates, and even individuals can make a difference in this sense. Now, for example, government authorities, we do have for example, Marine Environment Protection Authority, which is operated by the Ministry of under the Ministry of Environment, and Fisheries Department under the operated under the Ministry of Fisheries or Aquatic Resources. So this kind of government bodies are doing their best to conserve our marine environment. And other than that, there are many, I shouldn't say names, there are many non-governmental organizations operated for the same good cause. And also, there are corporates like businesses that are involved in conservation of marine environment as a strategy for their CSR, so corporate social responsibility purposes. So in that sense, there are something going on. And not only that, there are certain things that individuals can do, like you and me individually. Basically, it's like most of the marine environmental problems are arising due to the like consumption misbehaviors, because we are like human, we go for the, to grab the maximum things we want. It's actually what exactly has happened to the oceans. It's been subjected to the tragedy of the commons. So tragedy of the commons means it's a common natural resource that have been subjected to many intruders to maximize their benefits, and finally it will end up destroying for all. So that is the same thing has happened to the ocean. Everybody goes there, everybody wants to get their maximum benefits, and nobody really cares about the oceans. So this nature has to be prevented. So as individuals, what we can do about this? First, we have to be responsible of our consumption. We have to mind our own carbon footprints, minimize the energy we use, and also less material that we use. For example, we use lots of plastics. For example, oceans are carrying around 150 metric tons of plastics already, and about 8 million metric tons to 12 million metric tons plastic pieces are being added to the ocean every year. So this is a huge concern all over the world. And this adding of garbage to the ocean has become one of the major problems for the marine life. We have many issues like entanglement of marine life with these foreign objects, and also the dumping of fishing gear, lost and discarded fishing gear in the ocean. They become hazards for the non-targeted species, making them vulnerable to ghost fishing. So this kind of impacts are very critical and very challenging that we have to conquer. So as individuals, we can really minimize the needs or the material that we use, and then we can minimize entering that materials to the ocean. And also one of the things that you do, actually I also used to do this, when we go to a beach, we love to collect things, right? We collect souvenirs, we collect rocks, we collect shells. Sometimes we purchase some beautiful things that have been created by shells, or like that kind of materials collected from the ocean. I think personally that's encouragement for this people to make more stuff using this objects. So we shouldn't do that. Actually, we have to keep our footprints only and bring back home all the things that we brought there. So that is that. Just leave the environment as it is and just enjoy the memory that you collect. And then you also can volunteer. There are some organizations. If you live by a beach, there are many organizations working on marine conservation. Sometimes they are organizing beach cleanups, so that you can voluntarily join with them to give your support for that kind of causes. And not only that, this is something that you can individually do. Whenever you go to a beach, just take a look around. If you see something like plastics or polythenes hanging here and there, you can just collect them and clean them only. So you don't have to wait until there is a beach cleanup to do so, right? And Also, one of the important effort that you can do by yourself is learn or educate yourself about the oceans. Whenever you read, or whenever you learn more, then you realize what is the problem. So I think that is very important to learn yourself what is ocean, what's its important, and what it does for us, and how can we make an impact that can be accountable for the oceans and its health, its well-being. So I think these are some individual tasks that you can kind of practice, and to develop your enthusiasm about the oceans, the conservation. And also, as I told you, you can read, because there are many available resources that you can utilize for this purpose. I think that is basically what I wanted to discuss today. So thank you very much for joining me, and have a good day.